Hello, I'm Joshua Roback, Principal Security Solution Architect at Swimlane. And today, I'm going to demonstrate to you Vulnerability Response Management, which is Swimlane's answer to the chaos that is modern-day vulnerability management. The solution focuses on the 4 pillars of a mature vulnerability management program: preparation, identification, remediation, and reporting. We'll begin with the Vulnerability Management Overview dashboard. You'll find detailed metrics such as open findings, total assets under management, SLA adherence breakdowns, and mean time to respond over time. This dashboard gives a sense of the overall health of a vulnerability management program. Next, let's move to the Vulnerability Analyst view. This dashboard showcases exactly what the vulnerability analyst needs to work on next. Ranked by calculated risk, the analyst can clearly see what should be the next thing that they look at. Let's dive into a vulnerability finding. Vulnerability response management unifies findings from various scanning tools into a single normalized record. Front and center is the turbine risk score. This risk-based calculation brings in 14 data points out of the box to provide a point-in-time understanding of the risk associated with a vulnerability finding. Let's dive into the risk elements that were used to denote this as a critical finding. Each risk element contains a weight to indicate how impactful it was to the overall score. This is completely customizable so that the risk accurately reflects organizational priorities. New values can easily be added to better reflect business context. As you can see, 12 of these risk elements came from Swimlane Intelligence. Swimlane Intelligence provides over 30 data points about a vulnerability, including research materials, as we can see here below. From here, an analyst can go as deep as they want to into the details of the vulnerability, available exploits, including sample exploit code, and much more. Everything they need in one place. Like most vulnerabilities, this vulnerability was detected on an asset. Let's dive in. The first thing to see is the asset risk score. This is a point-in-time risk assessment of the asset, given the asset criticality score, asset zone criticality score, number of open vulnerabilities associated with the asset, and the turbine risk scores of those vulnerabilities. Swimlane's consolidated asset inventory feeds visibility and facilitates remediation automation. In this asset record, we can see the asset metadata here, including the remediation owner and remediation channel. This data, combined with Turbine's automation, allows for the assignment of remediation work items to the correct team within the organization via their tracking method of choice. Now, these days, vulnerability findings are rarely worked individually. There's just too many. That's why Swimlane's Vulnerability Response Management supports the automated grouping of findings via customized grouping rules. Findings are grouped into logical cases. Let's have a look at a case. This case represents a grouping of related findings via predefined automated grouping rules. As you can see, this case includes 34 unique findings across various assets within the organization. In order to kick off remediation work, I simply need to click this button here to create vulnerability remediation items. Now, this is not creating 34 work items. That isn't doing much to control the chaos. Rather, findings within this case that share the same owner are all added to the same remediation item, making remediation efforts centralized, not only for their vulnerability analyst, but for the various remediation teams outside of security. As these remediation items are actioned by the owning teams and updates are provided via their preferred ITSM, a bidirectional sync takes place to update the original findings. This is vulnerability management centralized. If you have any questions or want to learn more, please reach out to us to request a demo.